guys? My name is Tana and this is Barry over here. Today we're gonna hit you up with some tips on how to save some money. Something we realize is that it can be a little hard to build financial stability, especially if you're young, getting started in your career. So we're gonna share some tips that personally helped us. Some of these are gonna be specifically for people in their young 20s, but honestly, this can help at any age.
Yeah, and we know there are a ton of YouTube videos and online articles out there talking about how to save money, but they almost always talk about really obvious things. Like for example, you'll save money if you eat out less and start cooking more at home.
Or you can save money getting a roommate.
And look, obviously all those things do work, but in reality, not everyone wants to cut down parts of their lifestyles.
Yeah, so this video is going to focus on strategies that can help you save money without making huge sacrifices. We're gonna tell you some things that we've tried ourselves that can help you save thousands of dollars in the long run. So let's get into the video, and by the way, we do make all sorts of different types of videos, so be sure to subscribe for some more.
First up is what I really think is the foundation of building a personal finance base, and that's writing down all of your transactions. Because if you don't know and keep track of where your money's going, it just makes it harder to save.
So what do we mean by that? It's really as simple as it sounds. Open up a Google Sheet, create 4 columns, okay? Are you ready? Number 1, date. 2, description. 3, amount. And finally, the category. These are the categories that you normally use, so think like groceries, restaurants, household. And every couple of days, go through this Google Sheet and update it, go through your Venmo charges, your credit card charges, everything, and just record it down.
When you start doing this, a few magical things will start happening automatically. First off, you'll start seeing subscriptions and recurring expenses that you otherwise would have forgotten about. For example, I remember last month I started a YouTube TV free trial. I ended up not using it, and as a forgetful human as we all are, I totally forgot to cancel the subscription. As I was logging in our transaction worksheet, I saw a $54.99 charge from YouTube TV. So I canceled it immediately, and because I was able to catch it just like a few days after the charge happened, I contacted YouTube support and they were able to refund me completely. So that was a nice little positive, and shout out to YouTube support.
Another thing that happens is you also have a great way to track anything you have to return. I'm the type that orders so many things online, ends up returning so many things. There have been many instances where I totally forgot to return a shirt or something. Just sits in my closet for a while, return window is gone. Now I'm stuck with something that I don't even need. So that's actually a lot of money wasted. Now what I do is when I am planning on returning something, I highlight that row yellow. So every time I go back to my transaction worksheet, I'm reminded of it. Once I go ahead and return it, I can go ahead and clear out the highlighting.
And once you start seeing all the transactions right in front of you and you get in the habit of logging every expense of your hard-earned money, you start to naturally spend a little bit less, and you're just a little bit more thoughtful because you lose the privilege of being able to just blindly drop cash everywhere you go.
So we have a combined transaction worksheet, and we have about 3,000 entries from the last year, which does sound a little intimidating, but it's really not that bad. If you remember to do it once a week, it can take 5 to 10 minutes. And of course, after you've been tracking your expenses for a few months, you'll have an understanding of how much you're spending in each category, and you may be able to build a budget, which can help you figure out where you need to cut back in your expenses. However, this is not what today's video is about, so let's move on to the next tip. This is probably gonna get a lot of haters. We highly recommend buying as much as you can on credit cards. And I know there's a negative stigma around credit cards. Most people in their 20s are actually deciding to make purchases using debit cards and cash rather than credit cards. And when you do something like that, you're actually leaving a lot of free money in the trash.
I think society has sort of brainwashed younger folks into associating credit cards as dangerous things that will lead you into a lot of debt, which, don't get me wrong, is very true if you're going to be using them irresponsibly and spending more than you actually can afford. But if you use it the right way, which is by paying off your balance in full every single month with no exceptions, you actually earn free money with cashback and rewards points with basically no catch.
That is what I like to hear.
And it's one of the easiest ways that younger folks, even teenagers, can start saving a little bit of extra money while building up a credit score by basically doing no extra work at all.
Let's take, for example, someone who tends to spend $2,000 a month. Imagine this person gets a credit card like the Chase Freedom Unlimited, which is 1.5% cash back on all purchases. They now have an extra $30 to save per month. Just make sure you're always going to pay off those credit cards in full.
Yeah, and that's just the easy way of earning cash back at a fixed percentage. If you do a little research about using credit card points to book flights and hotels, you can actually save a lot more. For example, this flight from Amsterdam to LA normally costs over $2,500. We were able to book it for just $221 and 35,000 Delta points which we got by transferring over from our Amex reward points that we got from our Amex Gold card. So we saved a ton of money on this trip, and honestly, I wouldn't be able to have done it without these credit card points.
Yeah, so credit card hacking is a whole thing. There's a ton of websites that cover exactly what you can do. And personally, between us two, we actually have 16 credit cards, which might sound like a lot, but it has saved us thousands of dollars. There really is a lot we could say about credit card hacking. However, to keep things short and simple, if you're just getting started off with credit cards, try to get a simple, no annual fee credit card, maybe something like the Discover It, that Chase Freedom Unlimited. Use that credit card for everything that you pay for unless there's extra credit card fees. Set up autopay with your bank so you can make sure that card gets paid in full every month so you don't accumulate interest. And along the ride, save up a little extra money.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, this next one has major middle-aged dad vibes, but it's fine. Get a Costco membership. It doesn't matter if you're living alone. This Costco membership is going to save you so much money across all of your essentials, your groceries, your household items, electronics, entertainment, gas, everything.
Yeah, it's only $60 a year to get a Costco membership. If you drive a gas car, the amount you're going to be saving from gas is alone going to be enough to just cover the expenses from that membership fee. So according to Google, Costco prices are 21 cents cheaper than average, but from my experience, I'm usually saving an extra $1 or $2 per gallon. I know the gas stations around my first apartment in LA were like around $4.50 per gallon. This was back in like 2018. The Costco gas stations were like $3.30 or so.
Not only is it gonna save you money on gas, but also on groceries and household items. So as you know, Costco, everything's in bulk, and you might be thinking, I don't need all of this stuff. Trust, it'll last forever. You don't have to go grocery shopping over and over. What Barry and I tend to do is we'll buy most of our meat, and we just freeze half of it, since most of it would go bad in the fridge. So this is something you could do. Buy in bulk, freeze it up. Your freezer is your best friend in this situation. And then just store all that toilet paper under your couch or something.
Yeah, that's the key. You gotta be smart about it. Obviously, if you buy a ton of like fresh produce that you're not gonna finish, that's no good. But toilet paper, paper towels, meat that you can freeze, that kind of stuff is like really gonna save you a lot of money. It's also saved us a lot of money on electronics and outdoor stuff. I know one example is I found this surfboard on Amazon that was $200, and that exact board was $100 at the Costco warehouse down the street.
And another great example is we recently bought a drone where on Amazon it was about $490, just bare bones. Then we saw the same drone that had a bunch of extras like an SD card, a case, extra batteries, and all of this together was $440. So that's crazy. Like the price difference is insane. You get so much more when you buy from Costco.
Basically, anytime you're making a purchase, you probably want to check out Costco first just to see if you can get a better deal.
Anything. Even if you're like, does Costco have that? Just check it. Just find out.
Okay guys, so this next tip is arguably the most important one that's gonna save you the most amount of money in your life with the least amount of effort. Get married. All right, I'm just kidding. Well, actually, getting married can save you money, but that's not what this video is about. The actual tip is to invest in the S&P 500. Now, I know for a lot of young folks out there, you might think that investing is only for people who are already rich, or that the stock market is super complicated and risky, but hang with me. Let's get right into it by breaking this down into simple facts.
All right, so the S&P 500 is a stock market index that tracks the performance of the largest 500 companies in the US. So think companies like Amazon, Apple, Disney, Home Depot. And as these companies continue to grow and perform well, so will the money that you invested in them. In the past, it used to be really complicated and expensive to be able to invest in these companies, but now with the beauty of technology, it's as easy as a click of a button to invest when you're using an app.
So we'll go through the steps of just how easy it is to invest in a second, but let's first talk about why young folks should be doing this in the first place and the truth about how risky it all is. Since the S&P 500 was created in 1957, it's gone up about 10% each year on average. And over the past decade, it's actually gone up about 13% each year on average. What this means is that time is on your side if you are a young person. If you're 20 years old and you put in $100 into the S&P 500 every month, you can expect to have over $560,000 by the time you hit 60 years old. But let's say you were scared to invest or you just never got around to it until you were 30 years old. If you start doing the exact same thing, putting $100 every month, you would end up with just over $200,000. That's literally $350,000 lost just because you started 10 years later.
All right, let's talk about risk now. Sure, the stock market has historically gone up, but will the future be any different? Well, here's one fact. that may put things into perspective. Each time the S&P 500 has peaked and hit an all-time high, it has reached another all-time high in the future 100% of the time. Meaning every single time it's gone down in history, it comes back up stronger. So yeah, of course there's a chance that it could go down tomorrow, next week, next year, but chances are it'll increase in value when you look at longer periods of time.
All right, so let's get back into how you can actually do this. I've used 8 different investing platforms, and by far the easiest one is Robinhood. So all you gotta do is just download the app, set up your account, search in SPY, which is a fund that tracks the performance of the S&P 500, and then set up a recurring investment of whatever you can afford every month, whether that's $1,000, $100, even just $1 every month. All that will add up. After that, the hardest part is sitting back and doing nothing, literally. You definitely don't want to end up in the stock market rabbit hole where you're trying to buy and sell and time the market and buy individual stocks, because then you're going to be making riskier decisions and you're also going to be wasting a lot of time. The point of this video is to save money without changing your lifestyle, so this is just meant to be a way to passively save any extra money you have sitting around over long periods of time.
Okay, so this next tip is to buy more expensive clothes. And you might be thinking, what? More expensive clothes? You're talking about saving money. Hear me out. I used to buy my whole wardrobe from cheap, fast fashion stores, think like Forever 21. And because it's so cheap, those types of clothes tend to fall apart within a year, and then I just have to go out and buy more.
Yeah, and having to restock your wardrobe every year will add up.
Exactly. Our suggestion here is to buy investment pieces. So think about your basics, your jeans, your t-shirts, your shoes, your dresses, whatever it may be. Try to buy investment pieces which are going to be more expensive. They're going to be higher quality. What that means is it's going to last you years and years to come. Not only is this good for the environment since fast fashion is wasteful, but it's also going to save you a ton of money long term.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of a minimalist closet where you only have a handful of each article of clothing, but they all kind of mix and match, so you have a bunch of different outfit choices. It honestly gives you a lot of mental clarity. And I know this kind of cheats the preface of this video saying that we're not going to change your lifestyle, but really I think this is a kind of way where you're improving your lifestyle, so hopefully this counts.
Yeah, this can be a little hard. I'm still trying to live by this philosophy, so it will take some time to adapt to investing in your clothes, but trust me, it's going to be worth it.
All right, so this next trick is to use gift card websites. It's this super secret hack that I don't think a lot of people know about, but you can basically go to websites and buy gift cards at discounted rates.
Websites like Gift Card Granny, Cardpool, and even Costco. Basically, if you know that you're gonna make a big purchase soon, check out one of these websites and then you can actually save a few bucks in the process.
So for example, we were planning out a trip with a few of our friends a while back and we had to book an Airbnb, and the booking total was about $480. So I went on one of these websites and I was able to find a gift card for $400 that I only had to pay $375 for. So that's basically a $25 discount just for going on this website. So it's a pretty big savings and really it just takes a couple of minutes.
All right, so this next tip is to get on some family plans. This is super important. I know all of us are spending a lot of monthly subscription fees for streaming platforms, cell phone plans, music streaming plans, whatever it may be.
You might be thinking, oh, $9 per month for Hulu? That's like the cost of a Chipotle burrito.
But let me tell you something, these costs will add up. And of course, there is a way to bring down those costs by half or even more. For example, I used to pay $9.99 for the individual premium plan at Spotify. Realize, wait a minute, there are family plans for $15.99. 6 people, that's already $2.67 per person. I saved so much money just by doing that.
So we recommend taking a look at all your subscriptions and recurring costs, check out the payment options, and see if there's a family plan that you can get started with.
Alright guys, so those are some of our tips and tricks on how to save money.
I know some people may disagree with some of them. That's okay. These are just some things that we've personally done and wanted to share.
Like this video if you found it helpful, and subscribe to our channel to see more.
Peace and love as always, and we will see you next time.
Bye!